impressive thing about Ballman is she has a very businesslike approach, doesn't get rattled on the mound, a real leader in the circle.
Right. Look, she's paying no attention to Abby Cheek doing her dance right in front of her. That's how businesslike she is. I mean, she really is pretty unflappable. Here's a look at the order for Syracuse, who comes in here with a record of 8-13. They will be playing their ACC opener series this weekend over at Louisville. And to lead them off is the right-handed hitting second baseman, Gabby Teran.
No, it's not every day you get to see an ACC-SEC matchup midweek here in the middle of March, and no, it's very exciting for all the softball fans watching today.
Teran lifts it to the right side and into foul territory, not squeezed as Mallory Payton, ball moving away from her, and she just didn't get it with two hands.
Well, defensively, you want to sprint to the ball. You want to beat the ball to that spot. And Payton just drifted a little bit, kept drifting, and the ball, any ball that's hit toward the line is going to keep tailing toward the line. Just a lack of focus there from Payton.
Boy, and how many times do you see that happen after you give somebody an extra at-bat? As Teran hustles into second base, and after the dropped foul ball, Syracuse gets it going with a leadoff double.
Well, that goes down as an error on the first baseman, and then a double for Teran. Comes back, turns on this pitch, very balanced, gets that inside pitch, gets the barrel of the bat on it, and it's a leadoff double for the Orange.
That'll bring up center fielder Alicia Hansen, 286 hitter with one homer. A little cool last night, but 67 warm degrees here at John Kropp Stadium today. But the story is the wind coming from the south at 15 miles an hour, blowing almost straight out to left and left center. Hansen squared and takes, count even at 1-1. There you see the Kentucky infield. Cheek at third, Reed at short, Martins at second, Payton at first, and they're in at the corners. Ballman deals. And that one is foul ball. On the year, Ballman 5-3 with a 3.11 ERA. Carol, she's started 8, had 11 appearances, 5 complete games, 40 strikeouts to just 19 base on balls.
And that higher ERA than you're used to seeing from Ballman has a lot to do with the tough schedule Kentucky's played in this non-conference season.
Popped up behind home plate and just over the screen. Shaper can't get to it.
And Syracuse has, as a whole, they've also played a very difficult schedule. They played Oklahoma twice. They played a very challenging schedule. Indiana twice, who's ranked in the top 25 this season. And they've had a hard time getting on track offensively, and here they sit with a chance to take the early lead here in this game.
Cheek able to hold the runner at second and throw across and get the first out.
With one out for the Orange, right fielder number 1, Bryce Holmgren.
And there you see that Kentucky infield again as we set it for you. Out in the outfield today, it's Vic, the freshman Kowalik, and Lauren Johnson. And that's down to Payton, who bobbled it for a second, but gets the out unassisted on Bryce Holmgren. That allows Teran to advance to third, and there's 2 outs.
Well, that ball, a little short hop there in front of Payton, does a nice job of keeping it in front of her, knocking the ball down, not panicking, picking the ball up barehanded, and hustling over to beat Holmgren to the base.
And the first pitch inside to Nelly Curasaris Mayer. You're a .321 hitter with a couple of homers and 10 knocked in. Like the Red Hawks of Miami last night, Syracuse trying to get one here in the top of the first. Pretty pitch right on the black part of the outside of the pink.
Well, Ballman really staying ahead of these Syracuse hitters as she 1-2 count now. Just doing a good job of pounding the zone, staying ahead, really attacking, not wasting many pitches out there today. I'll tell you what that does for your defense. When you have a pitcher who works in a good rhythm, throws a lot of strikes, doesn't take a lot of time between pitches, it really keeps your defense focused and in the game.
2-2 pitch from Ballman. Wait, that's in the dirt. Shaper couldn't get it. And I think they're going to say that it hit. Yes, hit batsman, right? Casares Mayer.
Yeah, it is a hit pitch. Obviously,
Right on the top of the
Casares
foot.
Mayer has a right to the box, does not have to move, and the pitch is clearly in the box, so she hustles down to first base.
Hannah Dossett, the catcher, stands in. .381 hitter, no homers, 8 knocked in, and that would explain Jenny Shaper is such a good receiver back there. But when that ball ricocheted off the back foot of Casares Mayer, she didn't have much of a chance.
No, and the ball's dead immediately. So,
Right.
there wasn't a sense of urgency. From up here, we thought, why don't you hustle after the ball, so to speak? But, we didn't get a good look at that till after the play. But once the ball does hit the batter, it's a dead ball, which means the other base runners have to stay at their base.
But if I'm correct, there was not an immediate dead ball signal unless I
Correct.
missed it, which I could have. So you just don't know. I mean, you got to. What's that old coaching thing you guys say? You play until you hear the whistle, right? Ballman with a 2-1. Boy, that one caught the outside corner.
A nice curveball by Ballman. Definitely one of her bread and butter pitches. Just excellent spin, excellent command. Doesn't give up too much of the plate. Ball is moving through the zone to catch that outside corner.
Looking to get out of a first inning jam. And that one must have stayed just upstairs. Dossett was able to hold up. And the count now 3-2.
With just a high and out of the zone. Good take by Dossett.
But she gets her swinging. First strikeout of the day for Ballman. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 left on base. The Wildcats come to bat in the first. So back in Lexington, and the Cats able to get out of a jam in the first inning, and now they get set to take on Syracuse and Miranda Hearn.
Well, Miranda Hearn in the circle hasn't thrown a whole lot of innings yet this season. You see just 17.2. But she's a junk baller, trying to slow down this Kentucky offense. You're going to see her work in and out, throws a ton of off-speed pitches. Everything has a lot of spin on the ball. Kentucky offense is going to need to be patient, let the ball get deep in the zone.
And as we talked about in our open, Jenny Shaper with those 2 home runs yesterday will lead things off, followed by Kowalik, Sheep, Martin, Payton. Grace Ballman, who's pitching today, will hit for herself. Bailey Vick, and the right fielder, Lauren Johnson. Shaper looks at that first off-speed pitch for a called strike. That great yin and yang, Carol, as to whether or not you figure out exactly what she's doing or whether you just sit back and look for the first fastball you can get.
Well, I think sometimes the first pitch is the best pitch. So, especially with Shaper, The way she's been swinging the bat, she swings and misses there, but the way she's been swinging the bat, swinging with a lot of confidence. And Coach Lawson wanting a timeout to talk to her hitters. She's noticing something about Hearn's delivery or something she's seeing about the release of the ball that she wants to pass along to her offense.
And picked it up in a hurry. I don't know whether it's, like you said, release or, a lot of people will move around in the box, but certainly after 3 pitches, she saw something she wanted to address directly.
Yeah, and it could have been something she watched on film before the game and notices it more now live, and obviously we see Shaper now she's always on the plate anyway, but she's definitely more on the plate and up in the box a little bit.
Tell she was just fighting to stay back and still way out in front of that offer.
And that's probably the reason that Coach Depking from Syracuse went with Hearn today. She knows this Kentucky offense is, in the top 20 in the country in terms of slugging percentage, scoring, on-base percentage. They've just been top to bottom a very strong hitting team. So how do you slow that down? Well, you throw off their timing, and that's the goal here with Hearn. Not sure if we'll see her the whole game, possibly, but definitely one time through the lineup.
And that shot into left field for a base hit. Shaper continues to swing the hot bat. To speak to what you were saying, Carol, I don't know whether somebody's getting some work or not, but already Peyton Schnackenberg, right-handed freshman, up and working in the Syracuse pen.
Yeah, and talking to Coach Depping this morning, and there you get a good look. It's a little ball that's fading down in the zone, and Shaper just does a nice job of getting her barrel to contact point and staying down and through it. Doesn't try to lift the ball, finds the open gap. Just a lot of good adjustments in that at-bat from Jenny Shaper.
And in steps Kayla Kowalik, the outstanding freshman. Battle of a couple of Texas kids. Hearn from Sugar Land, and Kowalik from New Braunfels. They'll probably cross paths at some point in time. That went up and out of the zone.
Kentucky comes into this game with 35 steals on the season, so a little over 1 steal per game, which is putting runners in motion and getting them moving pretty well. And on the other side, Syracuse has only thrown out 3 would-be base stealers all season, so I look for Kentucky to be very aggressive today on the base paths, put a lot of runners in motion.
And that's a strike. Shaper has only stolen once, though. Right? One for one.
Definitely not her strength. Not her strength, but especially the lefty.
Not that she couldn't. That's what she would tell you.
They all think they can.
Right. Boy, and that one plunked Kowalik right on the hip. Top of the order for Kentucky. Yesterday, Shaper was 2 for 4 with those 2 homers. Kowalik 3 for 4. Between the two, they had 7 of the Cats' 9 RBIs. And so here's how Syracuse sets up defensively. Mayfield, Casares Mayer and company. Martin, Hansen, Holmgren, left to right in the outfield. Two on and nobody out. And was that an illegal pitch?
Illegal pitch called. She's coming off the front part of the pitching plate. She's been really close almost on every pitch. Finally came off far enough for Michael Carby over there to make the call. Remember, it's a new rule last year. It's a ball in the batter, but there's no advancement on the bases.
And that one catches the inside corner. Cheek, 431, 5 homers, 20 knocked in. She was 1 for 1 with a run scored and an RBI yesterday. But Hearn can ill afford to make a mistake against Cheek.
And Cheek just finds a way on base. You know, she's known for her power hitting. There's no question. A lot of home runs, a lot of extra base hits throughout her career. Also been known to drop a bunt, moves pretty well. But, you know, what's so impressive about Abby Cheek, she's in the top 20 in the country right now in on-base percentage. So she's finding ways on base, not only with the extra base hits, but drawing a lot of walks, finding ways on base.
Gets that one on the flare into left field. Shaper's going to come around and score easily from second. And the Wildcats have got it going here in the first. They take a 1-0 lead and a couple on and nobody out.
Yeah, you can see Cheek. Even Cheek had a hard time waiting on this pitch. She's way out in front, off her front foot. Actually hits that ball off the end of the bat.
Right.
Never hit it solid, but that's because, again, these Kentucky hitters are having to wait, see the ball deep. But Cheek still finds a way, comes up with the RBI as she's done so many times throughout her career.
Number 33, Alex Martin.
So we mentioned the fact that Schnackenberg is warming up in the Syracuse pen. She's been joined by Sophie Dandola. And in steps Alex Martins, who's been swinging a hot bat as well. 323, 5 homers, 26 knocked in. But after a big weekend in the SEC opener at South Carolina, 0 for 3 yesterday.
Oh, that's what's been so effective about this Kentucky lineup. Who do you pitch to?
Right.
You know, the Shaper's done a nice job in a very non-traditional role for her in general as the leadoff spot. She's finding a way on, sets a good tone for the Kentucky offense mentally, and then you've got Kowalik and Cheek and Martins and Payton, who's been on fire this year, and then Katie Reed, who's been a traditional leadoff hitter. So it's very tough top part of the order.
Not only are they all playing at a high level, but they serve to protect each other in the lineup. Okay, you want to pitch around her? Guess who you got?
And you look at all great teams across the country. Big reason why Kentucky's ranked in the top 20. You know, you have that depth in offense. You have the depth in the circle. Quality defense, timely hitting.
Oh, Martins lifts it to deep right field on the track and caught. I thought that one was going to make it out, and I think as well, so too did Kowalik.
Well, Martins gets a good piece of this one. First hitter that's actually on time. She's still a little bit in front of the ball. Drives it deep, but a base running mistake by Kowalik. She took off very quickly and had to retreat all the way back to second base. She should have been tagging at second and advancing to third on that deep fly ball at the warning track.
She hasn't played like a freshman very often this season, but that's one of those times, right?
Well, the ball, and especially the ball drops out there, she still has a shot to score, even if the ball drops. So, no advancement there.
First pitch upstairs the ball to Mallory Payton. Sophomore first baseman hitting .333, 7 homers, and 21 knocked in. She was 2 for 3 yesterday with an RBI.
Another illegal pitch called, and you have to have both feet in contact with the pitching plate as you move forward, and that front foot keeps coming forward just a little bit, trying to get her feet set. You see some pitchers, adjust their foot if that happens, moving it more forward, or dig their toe into the ground a little bit more.
Line foul. Yes, associate head coach Christine Hines, who's down there in the third base box.
And Coach Hines and Coach Molly over there in the first base box deserve a lot of credit for this offense. They work very hard every day, a lot of the hitters, and they're really producing this season.
Hearn with a 2-1 pitch. That one crossed up her catcher. Now 2 on, 1 out Payton will get a look at a 3-1 offering. Kowalik takes off and gets a stolen base, and Cheek able to get into second behind her. All four, which is why she was taken off, right?
Just aggressive base running there. It was a 3-1 count, so if that would have been a strike, there's no doubt in my mind it would have been a stolen base from Kowalik. Just very aggressive. We saw that last night. Any chance that the ball was in the dirt, Kentucky was taken off and had a lot of success. And you see Kowalik keeps her feet. Well, she was taken off right away. It would have been a direct steal. Just saw the ball down. When you have a pitcher who's throwing the ball a lot in the dirt, or we've seen, Macholik behind the plate jumping up quite a bit. Hearn having a tough time finding the strike zone right now. As a base runner, you love that, because if you can see the catcher out of position at all, you've got a good shot to take that base.
I think Kowalik was determined to make up for not tagging out there at second. And with the bases juiced, here's Katie Reed. Couple of homers, 13 knocked in to go with that 357 average. 1 for 2 yesterday.
I'm not surprised to see a lot of action over there in the Syracuse bullpen, as you mentioned. 2 other pitchers up and throwing. And in talking to Coach Depking this morning, she mentioned that, she thought it would be pitched by committee because she knew Kentucky had a strong offense. Their best pitcher is out for this particular game, and so she knew that they would have to pitch by committee. And you can see all of the Kentucky hitters, just the ball is coming over the plate. It's not fooling them by any means, but they're so far ahead. All the right-handed hitters are yanking the ball foul, and Cheek ended up getting one off the end of the bat fair, but didn't hit it solid. And so it's a first time through the lineup here. Hearn is having some success in terms of not letting Kentucky hit the ball solid, but also Kentucky with a good opportunity here to get a few more runs.
That one catches the outside corner. And evens the count at 2-2. Like you said, she has had some success. But if she can't retire Reed, you just wonder if she'll get the pitch to Grace Ballman. It is just such a difference from what they are used to seeing in terms of pitches, whether in batting practice or from opponents.
And that's why a pitcher, self-admitted, Coach Depking calls her a junk baller.
Sure.
And a lot of spin, and they can be extremely effective.
He tried to slap one the other way.
As a hitter, what do? You say, okay,
right.
And you're telling yourself, let the ball get deep, let the ball get deep. Or whatever cue word you might have. Some hitters think about hitting the ball to the opposite field. That makes them wait a little longer. Some will move up in the box a little bit. So there's a lot of adjustments you can make.
That one is a shot to left, and it gets down up against the wall. Kowalik comes in. Cheek follows her safely to the plate. Payton goes into third, and Katie Reed jogs into second with a 2 RBI double.
Katie Reed just kept battling and battling, fouling pitches off, and she finally gets a pitch up in the zone and does not miss. She is on time, hits the ball to the warning track, almost another grand slam. We saw one last night, but very timely hit from Katie Reed. Cheek also scores, so Kentucky gets 2 more runs on the board here in the first.
But Carol, but because of the off-speed nature of that pitch, it wasn't like it was a rip. It was more like a defensive swing. And she timed it up as Grace Ballman stands in. Ballman typically will not hit when pitching, but what Rachel Lawson likes about this is if for some reason she were to take her out, she'd be able to bring her back in. Ballman 1 for 5 at the plate this season. So the last thing you want to do if you're Hearn, is put her on. She's ahead in the count 2-0. And with the slapper, Bailey Vick on deck in a situation like this yesterday, we saw Rachel Lawson go pinch hit and go for somebody that could drive the ball.
And we could see that again here in the first inning.
First base open and the 3-0 pitch. And it's outside according to Ed Clark. And once again, the bags are full. And Kentucky has already scored 3 here in the first.
And another illegal pitch called on Hearn, so that's an automatic ball, and looks like Depking's going to be turning to her bullpen very quickly. I mean, we're not out of the first inning, and Hearn has thrown 35 pitches. That is a very high pitch count. Just 1 out in the inning so far. So try and stop the damage and switch things up. Going to turn to Dandola. Now here you get a good look at the illegal pitch. She's coming, her right foot is coming forward, actually, hopping or moving forward off the mound. It's a replant. And so we're going to, if you're Syracuse, you want to change the momentum here. You want to switch things up. Score is still, 3 runs in the first inning. In this day and age, offenses can do a lot of things.
So Sophie Dandola comes in, and we will take a break as the Wildcats have put 3 on the board in the first and just 1 out here in Lexington. And back in Lexington, and you see Sophie Dandola, who checks in to try to stop this big Kentucky first inning rally. The Wildcats have put 3 on the board and just 1 out. You see the numbers there on Dandola. And it'll certainly be a different look that the Wildcats see than the one they got from Hearn.
Oh, this is the ace of the Syracuse staff. Transfer from Hofstra, played last year at Hofstra. You're going to see a lot of balls down in the zone. Throws the ball very hard, mid-60s, low to mid-60s. But you're going to see the ball down, and more down. Does have an off-speed pitch that she will throw occasionally. It comes in a tight situation here in the first inning, but nothing she hasn't seen this season, as she has pitched the majority of innings for the Orange.
Well, in a hole here, you've got Payton at third, Reed at second, Ballman at first, and Bailey Vick will get to bat. Wildcat slapper hitting .209 with no homers and 3 knocked in. It'll be Vick, Lauren Johnson, and then the top of the order for Kentucky.
It's tough for the defense, as we talked about with Kentucky. Ballman working at a good clip, good tempo. Last inning kept the defense in it. That's 7 straight balls now thrown by the Syracuse pitching staff, and it's tough to keep your defense focused, keep the tempo of the game moving.
And there's a called strike. Misses outside, and so Dandola comes in and issues a bases loaded walk fourth run of the inning for the Wildcats, and the rally continues for Lauren Johnson. At least I think. Rachel Lawson is going to go with a courtesy runner for the pitcher, Ballman. And it will be Takaya Carter.
Your attention now, running for Kentucky at second base, 0 Takaya Carter. Now batting for Kentucky, your right fielder, number 9, Lauren.
So there you see
Johnson.
Gar Carter at second. And the bases remain full and just one out for Lauren Johnson. Well, I know you don't want to give anybody anything too good, Carol, but at some point in time, you just got to throw some strikes.
Yeah, you can't defend the walk. I mean, it's one of the few plays in the game there is absolutely no defense for it. So, if I'm Dondola, you want to go attack the zone, force Kentucky to put the ball in play. She's got a lot more speed on the ball, so right away the timing needs to be adjusted. But she's having a tough time finding the strike zone as well, and this has been a challenge for Dondola in general. Just really controlling her emotions, staying under control. She's a big, strong, hard-throwing pitcher. But the toughest battle sometimes to win is the one from the neck up between the ears, and that's where she has struggled this season. You can see falling behind 3-0 again. More activity over in the Syracuse bullpen. But here's the deal with Dondola. She did not start the game, so if she comes out of the game, she is done for the game. And
right.
With Romero, their best pitcher, not able to pitch today, they'll be a little thin in the pitching circle.
Boy, she misses there. Second consecutive bases loaded walk. As the Wildcats have pushed 5 across in the first, and still just one out.
Yeah, 44 pitches thrown in this inning with one out. Very difficult. You see the defense getting together, trying to give their pitcher a little encouragement. The things that you're trying to, all the things you want to have your pitcher believe there. We've got your back. You can do it. Pound the zone. Trust the process. One pitch at a time. Just trying to get out of this first inning here for Syracuse. And now we've got the top of the order for Kentucky.
Oh, yeah.
The heart of this hitting lineup. It'll be a very difficult situation here for Syracuse. However, Dondola throws a lot of ground balls, so they're looking for a double play here of some sort.
Once again, though, she just got to find the plate somehow. 12 of the last 13 pitches have been balls. And that one's in for a called strike. Logan Paul, the freshman right-hander, down in the Syracuse pen now, along with Peyton Schnackenberg, another freshman righty who continues to throw. Maybe Dondola finds a rhythm here as that one caught the outside corner. And Shaper behind the count 0-2. Lifted to short center field. Tag at third by Gar Carter, but she was held up by Christine Hines. Didn't want to run herself out of even more, especially with somebody who's hitting the ball as well as Kayla Kowalik coming up next.
And the ball was hit pretty shallow. Would have been tough to score on that anyway. But the pinch runner there, Gar Carter, got a little turned around as well. Instead of opening toward the field to see the catch, she actually turned toward the third base dugout, kind of playing a game of Twister on her own to see the ball. So it would have been tough for her to score on that anyway, just out by her positioning.
Wallach hit by a pitch in her first at bat. Now Dondola bringing it with some pop.
And that was the best pitch she's thrown this entire game, and she shows you what she's capable of. Throwing that ball in the mid-60s. Ball's got a little nice down bite on it, catches the bottom part of the zone. Finding, maybe finding her rhythm out there a little bit.
Talking with Rachel Lawson before the game, and all the time she saw and scouted Kowalik, a true slapper. And we saw her yesterday just line a couple the opposite way with a beautiful stroke. That one slapped to third, and the play is made across the diamond, but not before the Wildcats get 5 runs on 3 hits. They leave the bases loaded, and after 1, it's 5-0 Wildcats. Grace Ballman back out for her second inning of work. And her team has staked her to a 5-0 lead as Syracuse comes to bat in the top of the second. 6-7-8. And Alex Acevedo, designated player to lead things off.
Second for Syracuse, designated player number 14, Alex Acevedo.
Now the battle here for Syracuse is just chipping away at the lead, getting a base runner, kind of one hit at a time past the bat. There's no such thing as a 5-run home run, so
right.
you can't get it back in one swing. So it's early in the game. You've got to find a way to get some offense going.
Difficult to do anytime, but especially against a pitcher who normally is as unflappable and stable as Grace Ballman.
And she's pitched in her short career here so far as a freshman, and third to halfway through her sophomore season, she's pitched a lot of what I call stress innings. She's had to be the one called on, and the going gets tough, or the Friday starter in the SEC series. She's handled that beautifully.
Got her. I believe that is Ballman's second strikeout of the day.
With 1 out for the Orange.
A lot of pitchers say, I throw 4 pitches, I throw 5 pitches. Grace Ballman really does throw 4 pitches. Here she goes upstairs with the rise ball. You can see it spins right on top of Acevedo's bat. Great movement on the ball. What Ballman does is stretches your eyes in 4 different zones. She can go in and out, up and down. She can also throw an off-speed pitch. So very difficult to hit if you feel like, as a hitter, you're going to cover the whole plate. You may have to cut the plate in half. You may have to, look for something down. Obviously, try to lay off that rise ball in general. But, Grace Ballman makes it very difficult because she truly has command of 4 pitches.
And Kayla Kowalik takes the ball to even the count at 1-1. Kowalik, sophomore catcher, hitting 172 with 6 RBI.
And talking to Coach Depp King before the game today, she feels like her offense has potential to score some runs, and they've shown some signs of being able to do that. But they've also found themselves in this exact situation too many times this season, down a lot of runs. And when you get down a lot of runs, it wears on you mentally. And, you just got to really fight. You got to grind. In this day and age, with the type of offense and hitting capabilities of teams, you really are never out of the game. You can put up runs in a hurry, but it is tough mentally for a team that's been down like that consistently.
Kowalik stands in to look at the payoff pitch from Ballman. That ball, kind of an in-between hop there for Martins. I don't think she could make up her mind about whether or not she wanted to come in or step back.
You said it exactly right. If you hesitate, you're in trouble. Would have loved to have seen Martins charge this ball. You can see her sit back on it. Ball's hit off the inside part of the bat, so it's not hit solid, but she gets caught in that in-between hop. Would have loved to have seen her attack that ball, come through the ball, knock it down. You had plenty of time there, but got caught in between. Let the ball play her a little bit.
And a first pitch strike to Leilani Mayfield. Martins hit with an error. And that's the second for Kentucky in as many innings. Of course, Payton dropped the foul fly ball in the first. Ballman's going to get the out at second, back to first, and not in time.
It's so much fun to watch pitchers who are such great fielders, good athletes. Ballman was a three-sport athlete, played volleyball, basketball, just shows you her athleticism here. Picks the ball up quickly, turns, opens her hips, and fires directly to second base to give her team. Katie Reed's so good at that turn at second base, but give her team a chance at a double play.
2 outs and a first pitch strike to Tony Martin. The left fielder hitting .292, 3 homers, 15 runs batted in. Pretty 2-1 pitch from Ballman to even the count.
That rise ball's been very effective for her today. Tough for Syracuse to lay off the pitch. It's breaking late. Looks like it's coming right down the middle of the plate, and it jumps late. So they're having a tough time laying off that pitch. It's been very effective. Wouldn't be surprised to see Ballman go right back to that pitch here.
And catches the inside corner. Third punch out of the day for Ballman. For Syracuse, no runs, no hits, 1 Kentucky error, 1 left on base. The Wildcats back to the plate into second, up by 5. Rachel Lawson's club coming to bat for just the second time on this windy but warm afternoon, and already the Wildcats with a 5-0 lead as
Leading off the bottom of the second,
Sophie Dandola ready to go to work against Abby Cheek, the Kentucky third baseman. Cheek had an RBI single in the first and shortens up. Take a look at Rachel Lawson, who was honored before the game yesterday. You see her Kentucky record, but she picked up her 500th win earlier this season against Murray State.
Oh, one of the best in the business, so respected in the coaching profession. Member of the NCAA Rules Committee, helps do that. So very involved nationally with our association, the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association. She's always willing to help. Was a speaker at one of our coaches clinics this year, and just one of the most intelligent people I think I've ever met. I feel like I learned something every time I talk to her. She's just a very deep thinker and has done an unbelievable job with this Kentucky program.
Got some interest in the offseason last year, but she said she loves it here and loves working for Mitch Barnhart. Cheek hammered that 2-1 pitch into left field for a base hit. She's 2 for 2 on the day.
Well, the perfect description of that hit. Just so powerful. Even a ground ball, so to speak, is rocketed through the infield. Abby Cheek just shows you her power. Just drives from the backside. That one you could even hear. It's one of the first solid hits Kentucky has had today, and Cheek continues to be on fire, just finding ways to get on base. You saw her try to drop a bunt earlier. She can hit it over the fence, as we all know, and also can hit for average.
She is 3 for 3 on the base pass. We saw at least one get in the dirt yesterday, and she took off. She is. Don't think she won't do that. As Martins takes a first pitch strike. She flew out to right, back in the first. Looky there. Kentucky had 5 stolen bases yesterday. This is their first of the afternoon.
And we talked about this early in the broadcast. Kentucky's strength, taking that extra base. They've stolen a lot of bases this year. Not Syracuse's strength. They have not thrown. They've only thrown out 3 would-be base stealers all season long. And Abby Cheek has good speed, moves well, moves up into scoring position.
Downhill runners. She runs the base pass with an attitude.
I love it. And I remember when she was a freshman, sophomore, and Coach Lawson was just ranting and raving about her athleticism. She felt like she was one of the best athletes that had ever played here at Kentucky. And she shows you that every day when she hits the field.
I believe it's just 2 away from tying the all-time Kentucky home run record. Held by Brittany Cervantes, right? Who's back in the Kentucky dugout. That one is just pulled foul.
And I like what Kentucky's doing here after seeing the spinny Hearn in the first inning. And now they're adjusting to Dandola, who keeps the ball down in the zone, and they're not trying to do too much with it, not trying to lift the ball. And Dandola's starting to hit her spots a little better, keeping the ball down in the zone, and you see a lot of hard ground balls right now.
Stay just upstairs.
And that's when Dandola has gotten into some trouble this year. If she hangs that drop ball, that's a hitter's dream. Pitches, not moving a whole lot. It's right in the wheelhouse, so to speak. So very important for Dandola to keep that ball down in the zone. Knees are lower.
Martins takes that 3-2 pitch and grounds to second. Put away there by Tehran. Cheek moves up to third.
Now, if you're going to be out, you want it to be a productive out. And Alex Martins does just that. Pulls the ball to the left side of the field. And you see there's no hesitation there from Abby Cheek. Sees the ball to the right side of the field, takes off immediately. So even though she's out, now Cheek's in runner third base with 1 out. A lot of possibilities to score from third.
Mallory Payton stands in. She drew a first inning walk. You can bet she's looking first pitch. Seven homers, 21 RBI. Eight pitches since coming in for Dandola. Syracuse again, 8-13 coming in. They open conference play this weekend. The Wildcats 16-7, 3-0 in the SEC. And as Carol has alluded to, one of the most difficult schedules in the country.
They have. Both these teams have played a very tough non-conference schedule. Kentucky, you know, as I mentioned yesterday, I haven't done the math, but they're probably in the top 3 toughest schedules in the country. Syracuse as well has played a lot of ranked teams early.
There's a shot, and that's going to be an RBI for Payton. Off the wall, she's digging for 2, and it'll go in standing up. The Wildcats extend their lead to 6-0.
The emergence of Mallory Payton in the heart of this lineup for Kentucky has been a difference maker for the Wildcat team. She has been on fire all season long, has been able to produce mainly with the extra base hits and the long ball. You see Cheek wisely tagging up just in case, you know, left fielder makes some spectacular play, has plenty of time to get back and tag and score. But Payton has had an unbelievable sophomore season, has hit some shots as home runs, just really swinging the bat with a lot of confidence.
Folks around this Kentucky program every day say she's consistently hit the ball harder than anybody. Katie Reed takes the first pitch strike. Reed doubled, 2 RBI double back in the first. And a chance to pick up another one with Payton there at second. Tried to check her swing, and that one was way down on the bat handle, but a foul ball nonetheless. Dandola heading to count 1-2.
That goal of the hitters, keep those hands back, and you see Katie Reed starts driving the hands forward, you know, gonna swing at it and tries to hold back, but the barrel went too far through the zone. That's one of those as a hitter, and you could see her reaction. You want that back, but counts as a strike nonetheless.
Reed to the right side. Payton moves to third. 2 outs. And Grace Ballman steps to the plate trying to help her own cause.
Pitcher, number 3, Grace Ballman.
I love Grace Ballman's hitting mentality. You know, she just looks like a hitter. She only has 5 or 6 at-bats on the year, but she steps in there and, you know, has that presence about her and just digs in.
She'll do that professional pitcher sort of thing, you know, and take one. And then from this point on, she is green on go if it's in the zone. Off the end of the bat, that's going to be a tough play. Can they get there? No! Collision at first. And Ballman tried to hold up as Tehran came over. You hope everybody's okay. And Ballman kind of shaking it off. Once she crossed the bag, she tried to pull up because the high throw had Ballman in a bad spot.
You know, and you just never know what's going to happen.
No.
You know, you could see that play develop from up here. It was, you know, a swinging bunt, as we call those. You know, Ballman takes a good cut at it. Dandola hustles to it, but the throw is high in the baseline. Pulls Tehran out of position, and there's really nothing either player can do there. And good thing Ballman's okay. But good hustle by Payton, scores easily. And more importantly, Ballman's okay, and so is Tehran.
And so they will charge Dandola with an error on the throw. 7th run comes across, and now Rachel Lawson takes time to talk with Bailey Vick.
Well, Coach Lawson leaving Ballman out there, wants her to work at least another inning here because she's already been out of the game. You know, she was run for at second base last inning, so if she would come out of the game again, she'd be done for the day.
Left side, snared by the third baseman. Boy, that was a nice play down the line. But Kentucky gets a couple of more. A couple of base hits, a Syracuse error. And at the end of 2, 7-0 Cats. So the Wildcats on top of Syracuse, 7-0 here as we go to the top of the 3rd inning. And Kentucky is going to make a pitching change. It was what they were hoping to do today, but I'm sure that may have been moved up a little bit after that collision at first as Larissa Spellman goes to the circle.
Yeah, maybe the collision at first and the fact that the Kentucky Wildcats are up 7-0 here and giving Spellman an opportunity. Hasn't thrown a lot of innings yet this season. Gives a good opportunity here today. You're going to see an east-west combination, a screwball, curveball combination. Also has a good off-speed pitch.
And so Spellman, you see the 2 starts. And here she is ready to go to work. And that's a first pitch strike to Tehran, who was involved in that collision over there at first with Ballman. Tehran got that double to lead things off for Syracuse. And it came after the dropped foul ball by Payton over at first.
Now, Tehran, just a lot of speed, probably the most speed on this Syracuse team, has 5 stolen bases. It's a real spark plug at the top of the lineup.
And down on strikes. Spellman comes in, 1 up, 1 down.
Boy, you love to see that. If you're Coach Lawson, you make the pitching change. And Spellman's been warming up in the bullpen, has to face the top of the order. And how about this curveball on the outside corner? Just freezes Tehran. It's a good start for Spellman.
And in steps Alicia Hansen, who squares and fouls it off. Hansen grounded out to Cheek in the first. I think the other thing, I think it just gives your team a lift too, Carol. You know, when you know somebody comes in and they're struggling or something, but you come in and you got a lead, and somebody just puts a ball over the plate, and everybody's just on their toes a little more out there.
Well, there's no question, and you know every coach out there has their least favorite top 10. You know, you pop up a bunt and it ends in a double play if you're on offense, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And you know, if you're a coach and you look at the scoreboard, you've got a 7-0 lead. What you want your pitcher to do out here, if you're the team that has a lead, throw strikes.
Reed can't get that one. And just underneath her diving glove as Hansen gets a base hit, just the 2nd of the day for Syracuse.
A little too much of the plate here for Spellman. Hansen doesn't do too much with it, just flares it up the middle. Good effort by Reed, who has tremendous range out there, but Hansen just showing off, you know, getting the abilities what Syracuse needs to do. Put back-to-back hits together, get something going, get that 0 off the scoreboard.
Bryce Holmgren stepping in for the 2nd time now. And Hansen at first. She ground out to Payton over at first in her only appearance at the plate today. So after talking about Spellman coming in and popping the zone, she falls behind 3-0 after giving up the base hit.
And this is not the part of the lineup you want to fall behind. Good power with Holmgren. And she can drive the ball deep. As can Casares Mayer, who's on deck. Good opportunity here for Syracuse. This pitch gets up and in. Probably the top part of the strike zone. Spellman gets the call.
Comes right back in the 3-1 pitch, right in the same spot. And that runs a count full. Clark looking like he's consistent in that upper part of the zone. Cheek, that's a shot that she couldn't handle, but she keeps it in the infield. That'll be a base hit. So Spellman strikes out the first batter she faces and then gives up back-to-back base hits.
Holmgren taking the ball the other way. This is an awkward play for any infielder. It's low and you got to turn your glove over to that backhand position. Abby Cheek can make that play, certainly, but the ball had a good pace on it. So Holmgren, who's been hitting the ball hard all season long, gets herself a base hit.
Nelly Caceres-Mayer takes a first pitch strike. She was hit by a pitch back in the first. So now you got Hansen at second, Holmgren at first, and one down. That hitter? Absolutely did. Second time she's been hit today. And now Spellman has gotten herself in a little bit of a jam.
Starts to swing, nowhere to go. Ball's in the box. She tries to even pull away, turn away from it. You're a 4-batter. You're in there to do one thing, and you like to swing the bat and hit. You don't like to be hit. But that's going to cause a timeout here with Coach Lawson. Wants to get her team together. Talk about positioning your infield. A lot of times when you have nobody out, less than 2 outs, you're going to play your middle infield in to cut off the plate at the plate.
Not a long meeting, but I'm sure to the point. The point right now is that Spellman needs to make something happen. As Hannah Dossett, the senior, stands in. Struck out in her only plate appearance, but a .372 hitter with 8 knocked in.
Dossett back in her home state. She's from the state of Kentucky. Played for the Louisville Lady Sluggers, travel ball organization, so played with a lot of these Kentucky players that came from that same organization. I talked to her a little bit before the game. She had a lot of family, friends here today. She's really excited to. She's a senior now, and just excited to come back to her home state and play.
Sure. As you pointed out, Cheek at third and Payton at first in on the corners. Now Spellman ahead in the count. Lawson started 15 of the 18 games she's played in. (16 hits and 42 at-bats. Boy, and a nice job by Spellman as she got her to chase. Second strikeout of the inning for Larissa Spellman.
They learn a lot about a pitcher when they have adverse situations. Do they step up to the challenge, or does the inning continue? And this is one of the best pitches Spellman has thrown all day. It's not a strike, but it looks like it's going to be a strike. Sign of a great pitcher, timely pitch.
Base is still loaded for Alex Acevedo, who takes a first pitch strike. She struck out back in the second. Hansen at third, Holmgren second, Caceres-Mayer at first. Shaper with a little advertisement down to third as that one got away from Spellman up and in. Wildcats with 5 in the first, 2 in the second. Syracuse trying to get on the board here in the third. And now Spellman is behind 3-1. Liner to center, and perfectly played out there by Kowalik. No runs, no hits, 2 hits, no errors. None across for the Orange. They leave the bases loaded, and they trail 7-0. Larissa Spellman comes on, Carol, and gets herself out of a jam.
Yeah, pitches herself into a jam, but made her best pitches when it counted the most. Big strikeout. And then the line out to center field to Kowalik. You know, you love to see that. A pitcher comes in, they've been waiting for their opportunities, to get the opportunities, and ended up with a goose egg for Syracuse. Came up with some great pitches there, the last 2 batters of the inning.
It was a great description. Pitched herself into the jam and then pitched herself out of it. Coaches typically don't like that. It makes the coaching life much more difficult, right?
There's no question. I used to tell pitchers any day, we're not working on the pitch count.
Right.
We're working on getting outs,
right? Creating
outs any way you can. And there's a lot of coaches out there who know that. Some of the best pitchers in the country, they get to full count, couple foul balls, and then you get a strikeout. Well, why'd you mess around so much? But it's a lot of times they're not trying to do that sort of thing, but it is very taxing in the dugout.
Lauren Johnson now ahead in the count, 2-1. Drew a bases loaded walk back in the first inning.
I'm talking with Coach Depking a little bit earlier. She was really looking forward to the conference season. They start this weekend.
Right.
And as a coach, you have your non-conference season, you have your conference season, and if everything goes right, you have your postseason. Not everyone does there. You get a good look at Coach Depking. Played at Tennessee, very successful player there. Was head coach at Dartmouth, won several Ivy League championships. And the player to her right there that we just saw a minute ago is Vanessa Sippy, and everyone in the softball world knows that name. Just a former NFCA All-American at Oklahoma State University, now in the coaching profession. Talked to her a little bit before the game, and you trying to take that passion you have as a player and give it to your own players now, because it's you're just so used to being out there and playing. She played very recently.
Johnson lifts that one to left, and it gets inside the left field line, and she will cruise into second with a leadoff stand-up double.
I'm really impressed with Kentucky's base running. There's no hesitation here with Johnson. She's got great speed. Ball is down the left field line into foul territory. There was no hesitation. Johnson was thinking double right off the bat. And we've seen Kentucky take a lot of extra bases here in these last 2 games we've been able to do. Balls in the dirt, they're advancing a base. Stealing, being aggressive, stretching singles into doubles, doubles into triples. It's been a lot of fun to watch them on the bases.
And you get that leadoff double and set the table for the top of the order. Jenny Shaper fouls the first pitch back. 1 for 2 today.
I don't see too many catchers in that leadoff spot.
No.
It's pretty rare. It just is what it is. But with Shaper, she's done a nice job in that spot. Just sets the tone, has a great mentality.
We talked about it last night. Rachel Lawson likes her there because she's selective in what she'll go after, give the other hitters behind her a chance to see everything that the opposing pitcher is bringing, and then as soon as we said that, she goes deep into first and then deep into third, which is very untraditional in terms of leadoff. That off-speed pitch is in the dirt.
Well, and she's been a leadoff hitter quite a bit this season, and she still has over 20 RBIs. And a lot of times when you look up and down the RBIs on a stat sheet, of course you're going to have your 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters. But for a leadoff hitter, that means the bottom of the order is doing something here at Kentucky.
Of course, it helps when you have a 5 RBI day like you did yesterday.
It doesn't hurt.
Right?
That does not hurt.
I'll tell you what will hurt if somebody makes connection. Christine Hines down there in that third base box, she has been hopping today. I mean, she has been kind of like the guy driving the golf ball retriever out there that's got the cage around him. Shaper drives that one to center field. That's going to find the wall. Johnson will score easily from second. Shaper cruises in with an RBI double, her 23rd on the season for the leadoff hitter. And the Wildcats extend the lead 8-0.
One of the goals you have a lot when you enter a game is to not only score first and score last, but to try and score every inning. And Shaper is just seeing the ball so well right now, staying balanced, being on time. And that's equaled a lot of RBIs for her as you see Johnson trot across the plate.
Shaper at second, and now Kayla Kowalik stands in. Hit by a pitch, her first time up in the first, and then grounded out to third as the Cats batted around in inning number 1. Boy, what a nice piece of hitting that is by Kowalik. Shaper will stop at third, and Kowalik does not hesitate. And when they had to put the attention on Shaper at third, Kowalik just put the hammer down and turned that into a slide into second base safely.
Once again, showing you the aggressive base running. Kowalik, that split grip, finds the gap, and once the left fielder Martin just kind of tosses the ball in, there, Kowalik sees that little toss into the shortstop, didn't get it in quick, didn't go to second base. I would have loved to seen that throw go to second base. Shaper was in no way, shape, or form thinking of scoring on that. But Kentucky, being with the aggressive base running, gets another runner in scoring position.
Boy, Cheek gets one up the middle. 2 more come across, and that was a tough play for the shortstop, Casares Mayer, who had to really hold up because of the runner. There's no interference or anything there, but take a look.
Yeah, smartly, Kowalik holds up, and the ball takes a hop over a glove because Cheek has so much speed on the ball. But once again, if you don't have a play at the plate, I would have loved to seen Hansen take that ball. There was no way she was going to throw Kowalik out. That ball should have come right up to second base because by the time it got to the cut, Cheek, with the Kentucky's aggressive base running, once again heads into second base. Well, they're able to do anything they want right now on the bases, Kentucky, and that's caused a conversation with, looks like pitching coach Miranda Kramer out there with Dandola. Miranda Kramer, former pitcher at Western Kentucky, former NFC All-American as well. But see, this ball comes in from Hansen. Instead of going to second base, there's no way you're going to throw the runner out. Does hit the cut, but once again, Cheek's not hesitating, heads to second base. That ball could have went to second. He would have had a shot for the out.
Coaches correctly talk a lot about situational awareness. And if you are in the outfield and you're playing Kentucky, you have got to know that their default is to take that extra base.
Sure, and to throw ahead of the runner and to anticipate that. And, rarely as an outfielder, rarely are you wrong going to second base. But you can be wrong hitting your cut or going to third or, sometimes throwing it home behind the runner. But rarely are you going to get yourself in trouble going to second base to prevent that batter base runner from advancing. And that was a perfect situation right there with a lot of speed at second with Kowalik. Took a long time for Hansen to get to the ball. Would have loved to seen her come right to second base.
So Alex Martin's looking for her first hit with Cheek at second. Wildcats have put 3 more on the board here in the third, and they have made the most of their opportunities. 10 runs on 9 hits. Ball is lifted down the line in left, long run. Oh, and that's a pretty play down there by Tony Martin. And Cheek with a heads-up play to tag and come into third, but what a play by Martin up against the fence.
Yeah, good play all the way around. Alex Martin's a little slow with her bat, lifts the ball, but Martin doesn't give up on it there in left field. Might have a little bruise in her midsection, but Cheek sees the fact that she's hanging over the fence, and with her speed, she easily gets to second base. You can learn a lot by watching a softball game, and if you're a softball player out there watching Kentucky run the bases, just always looking to take the extra base. There's so many base runners out there that stop themselves. They'll hit a ball to left field, nobody on, and they round first very slowly and stop themselves. And you always want to make the defense stop you, throw to that base. Kentucky does a great job of that.
First out of the inning. Mallory Payton fouls it off. Payton walked, got a 2 RBI double then in the second. Dandola just out there battling the best she can.
Syracuse is stuck with Dandola. She's working on a few things, trying to stay within herself a little bit.
Payton stayed back, and that's line to left, but that's going to be plenty deep enough for Cheek to tag and come in to score. Second RBI of the day for Payton. 4th run of the inning for the Wildcats, who extend the lead to 11-0.
It was very impressive. Cheek tags very quickly. This ball is deep, so you see Cheek hesitate just a little bit. There's no need to time it. Try to, time it right when the ball hits the glove. You got plenty of time to score. And Kentucky continues to add to that score.
Katie Reed grounded out to second, back in the second. Got a 2 RBI double in the first. That one lifted to deep left field, back at the wall. And it's gone. Reed stopped at first base. Martin tried to play it and was right there at the gate.
C-A-T-S.
But it's Katie Reed who goes deep.
Katie Reed, her 3rd of the year.
And gets number 3 on the season.
Her home run is a home
to make it 12-0.
That means one lucky.
Well, the reason that she stopped at first base, she missed first base. She was watching the ball a little bit and went back with a smile on her face, but she gets all of this ball. Beautiful swing by Katie Reed, great extension. She's all smiles, and why not? When you got 12 runs and you're not even through the 3rd inning,
right.
Everybody's smiling with Kentucky.
Now Rachel Lawson will go to her bench, and the senior Kelsey Henson
hitting for Kentucky, number 19, Kelsey Henson,
has a bat in hand. Henson, a .292 hitter. 7 hits in 24 plate appearances. at least from a hitting standpoint, the Wildcats have certainly liked being back at home.
Yeah, I mean, you put up that many runs this early in the game, it gives a lot of players opportunities. And, you know, it gives players that experience, and so later in the season when you need to call on them, they've got, you know, a database to pull back from that they've had those opportunities.
Henson, a grounder to second. And the inning is over, but not before the Wildcats put up 5 runs on 5 hits. We head to the 4th, and they lead 12-0.
For Kentucky in the bottom of the 3rd inning, they score 5 runs on 5 hits.
Dave Baker, Carol Bruggeman back here with you, John Kropp Stadium in Lexington. The Wildcats with a big 4th inning lead over Syracuse as Kentucky appears to be on its way to going 2-0 in this home season. Yesterday, the home opener for the Wildcats as they were able to take care of Miami of Ohio 9-1 in walk-off fashion. And after this one today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday here at the Kropp. Second SEC series of the season as they host Mississippi State. And that is a soft liner to read. 1 pitch, 1 out. Kayla Kowalik lines out.
When you have that big lead, you want your pitcher to get ahead of the hitters. That's exactly what Spellman does, is attack the strike zone. Kowalik staying aggressive as well, doesn't get a good piece of it. Katie Reed, one of the best shortstops in the country, makes that look easy.
And that one just misses outside on the first pitch to Leilani Mayfield. Talked about Kentucky opening up SEC play this weekend against Mississippi State. We know how difficult the SEC is, but Carol, Syracuse takes a little trip on I-64 to take on a Louisville team that will be playing, I believe, their first ACC series at home.
Yeah, you feel like that's a conference that Florida State has literally dominated the last few years, won the national championship a year ago, but they've been at the top of that league for many, many years, and you just keep wondering who's going to give them a real run, who's going to knock them off. And, you know, Notre Dame consistently has been to the NCAA tournament, has consistently had a very strong team. North Carolina, you know, Louisville for many, many years, the last few years not as strong. And so, you know, Syracuse, for many, many years when Louisville and Syracuse were in the Big East, we were a part of a lot of battles with them.
Ball is lifted to left, and that managed to fool Bailey Vick. Wind blowing out, and Mayfield jogs into second with a 1-out double.
It goes the other way, and as you mentioned, the wind blowing hard, that ball just keeps tailing away from Vick. Didn't get a great jump on the ball, but that ball still carried all the way to the warning track. Would have been a tough catch either way. But this is something Coach Debking talked about. She's, you know, really trying to bring in her own culture, her own feel, and one of the things she talked about was, you know, always fighting, never quitting, you know, staying in control, and you know, just I think they just would go a long way today if they could get something on the board as they head into ACC play.
Tony Martin ahead in the count, 1-0.
Something interesting about the ACC as well is there's 5 new coaches in that league, 5 new head coaches, and that's a lot. You've got Debking here at Syracuse, Pete DeMoore at Virginia Tech, Holly April over at Louisville. You know, at Pitt, you've got Jody Hermanic. So just a lot of change, a lot of unknowns in the league this year.
High fly ball to short right. Martins, the second baseman, goes out to grab it. And they're 2 down. One thing about Kentucky and the play made by Vick, just as we look at the outfielders out there, you can see the way that the grass is kind of worn down a little bit depending on where they are. And even though they've got a big lead, they continue to play shallow and aggressively. And that ball just past The third base bag is Tehran. Leadoff hitter fouls it off. Tehran doubled to lead things off in the first and then was caught looking in the third. Squares to bunt and that hitter. And that'll be an out. That's right. Couldn't tell whether she was out of the box, but that's the end of the inning. No runs, one hit, no errors.
No runs on one hit. There were no errors and one run.
One left on base, and the Cats lead by a dozen. So back in Lexington, the Wildcats come to bat in the home half of the fourth inning. And a pinch hitter. There you see number 8, Brianna Rance. Freshman infielder from over in Fishers, Indiana. This is her third career at bat. Like you said earlier, Carol, this is an opportunity in a game like this for Rachel Lawson to get some folks some experience.
They got to take advantage of those opportunities. You never know when you're going to have the chance to have a lead like this, especially with the conference Kentucky is playing in. And all of these young ladies are at practice every day. They're all working hard. They all deserve opportunities when they become available.
And as a coach, you got to see what they're going to do in certain situations, you know, like you talked about down the road. Do you gain the confidence to call upon that young lady in a situation where something substantial is on the line?
No question.
That one on the outside corner.
I think I mentioned it last night. I'd have to look at the exact roster, but I feel like every freshman that's been coming up to pinch hit, role players, they're on the left side.
There are a bunch of them, aren't there?
Must have been on a left-handed recruiting tear there, or just the way it worked out. And there's a lot of lefties in this lineup for Kentucky, a lot of lefties on the bench.
And you try to balance that, but as we talked about last night with Spangler pitching so well and getting that 5-inning victory, she's the only left-hander on the pitching staff. So an abundance of lefties at the plate. Not so much in the circle.
They're tougher to find, you know. A strong lefty pitcher, they're just, you know, there's more and more all the time, but they're not as easy to find as the dominant righties.
Boy, how about that? First career hit right back up the middle. And if you're going to make a statement with your first hit, that's the way to do it.
Takes this pitch, too much of the plate for Dandola, trying to get that ball down in the zone. It's up, and Rance does not miss that pitch. And, you know, you see the whole Kentucky dugout gets excited for her. She's smiling. Kentucky's got a new cheer at the bases, we learned. You know, they did the Hitting Kittens last year. They've got the Cat Daddy. Oh. And there's probably nobody more excited than Rance to have a chance to do that. Saw her get a chance to do that at first base.
J.C. Babbs comes in to pinch run over at first. And I'll tell you what else that'll do now is after a plate appearance like that, Rachel Lawson will be more likely to call upon Rance in the future.
Well, there's no question, and gives Rance a lot of confidence next time she comes up to the plate, as we see another pinch hitter here for Kentucky.
Olivia Ward, the freshman out of Winfield High School. There's a right-handed freshman hitter for you. The dirt. Babbs has got herself a stolen base. I believe that's number 2 of the day for Kentucky.
Kentucky staying aggressive. And, you know, again, Babs is one of their top pinch base runners, and so it's very important for her to continue to work on the skills that will help her.
That is, in fact, the second one, and there is a base hit to right by Ward. They hold Babs, the pinch runner, at third. And how about that? Going to the bench once again. And Olivia Ward, according to my calculations, that's her first Kentucky hit.
It's one of those days, the Kentucky offense, it's just a hitting parade. Doesn't matter who's up to bat. They're having quality at-bats, good base running. As you see, the pinch hitter Ward advances to second base on the throw home as well. So this Kentucky offense on fire today, 1 through 9 in the starting lineup. The bench has been producing. It's one of those days as a coach where you're all smiles.
Wildcats again go to the bench with another freshman. This will be McClay Branson. Freshman from up in Union, Kentucky, up at Ryle High School. Two hits and 7 at-bats this year. A couple RBIs to go along with that. Wildcats have him in second and third, and nobody out in the fourth. Popped up to the infield. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
With one out for the Cats, your center fielder number 99. Kayla Kowalik.
That'll bring in Kayla. Seen her out there in center field. It's, you know, just how talented she is, Carol, because as you mentioned yesterday, she's a true catcher.
Yeah, she's really caught her entire career. And she's the heir apparent for Jenny Shaper next year, and she's getting a ton of offensive experience this year, but never played outfield even in the fall of her freshman year here. And Coach Lawson, you know, kind of smiles about it now and realized I need to get her in the outfield because we need her in the lineup. So she has played center field for the Cats the majority of the season and has never really practiced there that much, and just showing you her athleticism. And she's done such a nice job offensively. Can soft slap, bunt, can power slap. Just has a lot of tools, very good athlete. And again, you don't see too many slappers, traditional slappers. She's really a true triple threat.
Right.
But as catchers, kind of unique.
One pitch is a called strike. Rachel Lawson and I were talking before the game, and she goes, you know, she didn't have a great fall. And then she just kind of, I said, well, did you ever stop to think that this is a gal that's come across the country from Texas, trying to adjust to college? She hits it to the right side, and that allows Babs to score with Kentucky's 13th run. And she said, you know, you might have a point there. And then she went on to tell me that she's a twin, and her twin sister is playing softball somewhere. And, you know, sometimes you just get into day-to-day and, you know, but I think, and you've seen it happen before, Carol, you know, it's like, okay, they understand they can handle playing at this level, they understand they can handle school, and then they just go out and play, right?
Oh, yeah, the freshman fall is always an adjustment. The speed of the game, you know, you're away from home, you're going to classes differently, you're making all the decisions by yourself.
That's the key thing right there.
That's the number one, you know. You always got those backup called mom and dad or somebody, big brother, big sister helping you at home, and you don't have that anymore. So when you're learning how to make those decisions on your own, oh, and by the way, playing high-level softball, it can be a big adjustment.
Sure. And so with 2 outs, here's Tatum Spangler, who got the victory last night. And a nice rip down there. Well, I'm looking on the stat sheet here. This might be, oh, there she is. 1 hit in 4 at-bats for Spangler. As Kentucky has plated 13 runs on 12 hits. It's efficient.
Very efficient, and also a few walks in there, and just a solid offensive day all the way around for Kentucky. It's not like Syracuse is, they definitely have walked a few too many batters and hit a few batters, but other than that, even Kentucky has hit the ball, double-digit hits, and we're not even through the 4th inning yet, but Syracuse only has 1 error, so Kentucky has earned the majority of their runs. Just up and down the lineup, off the bench.
And that ends the inning. But not before the Cats get one more. They'll look to walk it off here in the 5th. So Larissa Spellman in the circle, looking to close things out here in the top of the 5th inning. As you see, she's given up those 3 hits in a couple of innings of work, but no other damage to show for it.
Your attention, defensive changes for Kentucky, playing left field, number 5, Tatum
And Carol, as Kentucky gets set to head into the start of SEC play, I think these 2 games were the first time you'd had a chance to see them live?
Yeah, live. I've watched them a little bit, on various platforms, but just watching them live, and I think they're coming into their own. And talking to Coach Lawson yesterday, they played such a difficult schedule. Her biggest challenge was keeping their confidence up, even if they lost a few games early. When you're playing UCLA and Oklahoma, I mean, they played a very difficult schedule, and they're coming into their own right now. She felt like at South Carolina, their opening SEC series, which they swept, all 3 parts of their game were on for the first time all season. So it had solid pitching, it had very solid defense, turned 5 double plays in the series, and solid offense. And we've seen that offense just carry over into these midweek non-conference games.
And she is committed to that difficult schedule. And Spellman falls behind in the count 2-0. Telling me in the dugout, it's either yesterday or today, that we're talking about the schedule this year. In fact, they end up early here. That ball's lifted to left. And hauled in there by Spangler. That this year, their off week is at the end of the season, so they're going to go out and play at Texas Tech before they have their last SEC series at A&M, which is where the conference tournament is. But she said next year during their SEC off week, they're going to go and play at Oklahoma. That's not much of an off week, if you ask me.
Yeah, and what's happened is, a lot of these schools will look at, a lot of conferences have a bye weekend, and whether it's the Big 12, the ACC, the Big 10, and they try to find each other and see what they can do about that. Who's off, and does it make sense for us to play each other? And we've seen more quality preseason matchups, non-conference matchups this year across the country than ever, and it's great for softball. It's great for the fans, and here you get a look at their upcoming schedule. They've got some 3 more conference games here at home. Actually, their next 6 conference games will be here at home.
8 of their next 9 here at home, as that one is snagged at third base by Ward. And the Wildcats now just 1 out away.
That just goes to show you, the ball always finds, as we say in the playground, the ball finds the new kid. Spangler goes out to left field, first out goes out to Spangler, next play is a line drive to Ward. You got to be ready to play when you jump in there, and it's a good cut by Holmgren. Just to, she's hit the ball hard to the opposite field all day today, but a nice snag by Ward.
And that pitch fouled off by Kasara Smayer. And it's certainly not the result they're looking for. But coming into an SEC stadium and playing a top 20 club like Kentucky, and the way they were able to pair that up with their trip to Louisville, is only going to help Syracuse in the future.
Oh, sure, and they have a lot of changes going on this year. Mike Bosch was the head coach there for many, many years. He's now the pitching coach at Florida, an assistant coach there with Tim Walton. So he's in the SEC, and Coach Depking taking over. Anytime you're coaching, you take over in your first year, you're really trying to coach culture more than anything, whatever your culture is. And so it's a big adjustment for the players. It's an adjustment for the coach. You're in a new conference. You don't know a lot about particular pitchers, hitters. So this is, as you mentioned, not the result that Coach Depking and the Syracuse Orange wanted, but it's all part of the process, especially when you have a lot of newness going on around the program.
And that 1-2 pitch lined into right field for a base hit. 5th hit of the day for Syracuse. And that keeps the inning going for the Kentucky kid, Hannah Dossett. Dossett in 2 trips to the plate today, hit by the pitch on both occasions. Once in the first, once in the third.
Kentucky having a lot of success on that outside corner against Dossett. She's had a tough time catching up with that pitch all day today. I look for them to continue to pound that outside corner.
You are exactly right. Good outing for Spellman after she came in for Ballman. She's now at 46 pitches. A good amount of work today. Two and 2/3. She's given up 4 hits. Hasn't issued a walk. 2 strikeouts.
Good battle here between Spellman and Dossett. Dossett making some good adjustments. Spellman continues to pound the strike zone, staying ahead in the count. It'll be a nice time to mix speeds a little bit when you get into a battle like this.
Lifted into short left. Reed has it, and that'll do it. Successful midweek, Carol, and I think it sets the Wildcats up well for what should be a competitive weekend series with Mississippi State.
I don't think it could have gone any better for Kentucky in these last 2 non-conference games. Complete domination by Kentucky today, hitting through the lineup, putting 13 runs up on the board.
No runs, 5 hits, 1 error, 8 left on base for Syracuse. The Wildcats, 13 runs on 12 hits, 1 error. They left 5 on base. Kentucky improves its record to 17-7 and 3-0 in the SEC. So for Carol Bruckman, I'm Dave Baker. With a final is Kentucky 13 and Syracuse nothing. Our next telecast on the SEC Plus Network will be on Sunday as the Cats take on Mississippi State. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to WatchESPN.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of the SEC ESPN Network.